Plaster's not quite dry, so I've got the heater running. I should have had the heater on last night. And now for the holes that I want to put in the back of this for the taps, there's two ways you can kind of go about this. One is to make a hole similar to the hole in the plasterboard, just big enough for the pipe. But when I look at the way the pipes come through, that might limit my access to this stop, the attachment for the tap. What I've done in the past, and it's creates a little bit more accessibility in later instances, is I go for a bigger hole saw, one that's big enough to basically house the whole tap surface. This means that number one, I can go and turn the water off and put these onto the pipes before I put this into place, because I still need to paint that wall, but I want to have the water ready to go. Doing that also means that I can check for any leaks on this without having to stick my head inside a cabinet. I've got a clear space for doing that. And it also means that the hole in the back of the cabinet will be big enough so that if at any future time this needs to come out for any reason, the cabinet can come out without having to turn the water off, because you've got these there. You can turn the water off there and then remove the cabinet without having to turn the water off up at the street. That's what I mean by that. Chosen one that's a fair size bigger, which means that they will probably just overlap on the back, and so I'll probably get the jigsaw or my multi-tool or something and then just clean this hole up so it's more like an oval shape. Now I'm going to start on the outside because I've actually marked out on the outside, but then before I go too far, I'll drill from the inside just to make sure I've got a clean hole in there. I need my dust mask. That's better. Now I'll score front and back. I can finish off. I thought they'd overlap, but they don't. Now I will clean that up, because I think one panel hole as opposed to two holes will look a little cleaner. I'll sand this surface so it's smooth, and then I'll probably seal it with a little bit of silicone so that this doesn't get affected by moisture at any time later. Decided to go with jigsaw, but I've put on a really fine blade. Teeth are opposing, so they're only 2 mil apart from each other, the actual tooth surface. And I've slowed the speed down too. And I'll just sand that. I just seal that with paint. Before I go putting this all in place as well, I'm just checking a plug for leaks. Just got a little bowl down here, and just going to make sure, I'm going to leave this sit for a little bit, make sure that no water comes down here at all, because I've used some bathroom silicone top and bottom, because before the water was going around just the edge of this, even though it had a silicone washer in it. And then it would come down through the threads. So I've now got silicone all around this area and up against the edge of the threads and all around underneath the top. Because this is designed, there's like an overflow hole there, and it goes down through here and enters below the plug, which is all in this area, and then goes through two holes that are in the inside of this at about this height, so that the water will come down the drain if there happens to be an overflow, so you don't get overflow here and into your bathroom. And so far, that's looking good. Even goes crust. Just finished with year 12. They got the Rio put down, all the little chairs, tied the two pieces together, used the water level to check the levels of the corners. One level that they need to check is with the laser, and my laser's not working at the moment, so I'm going to go see the boss and see if he can chip in a bit of money for me to buy another one, or whether he'll reimburse that part if I go and buy one. So that's ready to go. Looking at our classes, Friday around lunchtime is probably the best time to do the pour. I've got them the period before lunch, and that means if it doesn't finish in the hour, then there's a little bit of, I can basically keep them while they finish it off. Because the only other two periods I've got them, Wednesday period 1, but I've got year 9 straight after it, and Thursday period 0. Nobody's going to show up for a 7:30 class to do concreting. I just know that. The Friday period 4, just before lunch, get the concrete taxi to show up, and we'll get that done. Wednesday afternoon, it's been an interesting week so far. Year 11 doing exams, year 12 trying to keep up with their construction clusters, that sort of thing. Year 9 got into staining off these. I'm not sure if I showed these before. I'll have to look back in some of the video. But there was about 4 or 5 of them that got their projects finished, really excited, put a clear coat of finish over the top of them. I got photos and they went home. They were excited about finishing them. That was on Monday, because I had a double on Monday. And then I had a double with them today, and I thought, I need to start the next project. These kids won't know what to do, won't have anything to do. We're doing a little upholstered stool. Try and encourage them to bring their own upholstery in. This is an old t-shirt that I got when I was overseas. I supply the foam, and we did activities about working out the cutting list based on the diagram. And then I got them to do some maths with me to figure out all the materials the same size, 42 by 19. And I got them to help me figure out how many pieces we need in total, what's the total length, and then the fact that we can get 3 of those out of a single 140 piece, 140 by 19 piece. So 3 wide. And they figured out, yep, just a little bit over 1.2 metres for the whole job. Then how much do we need for the whole class? So that they could then help me get all the material and get it stripped up ready. So we had a whole stack of, you can see down on the floor there, that's what's left at the moment, but a whole stack of material. And I'm just starting them on one side. So they're just going to do this so far. Showed them how to mark out and cut mortars and tenons. So far we've only done the tenon. I demonstrated how to cut the tenon after marking it out. And then in our next lesson, which isn't until next week now, but I've got this jig that I made 2008, so it's surviving well. And I set it up so that you put your piece up here with the face side against the rail, and the drill, use the drill to drill out the mortises. And I actually did a video on how to do that a while ago. I'm thinking of redoing them because those old ones are a little bit dry. But we used the mortise gauges, showed them how to set out using face side, face edge, getting everything set out. And it was a beautiful lesson, having the kids all sitting around, getting all their marking out done. And it was really good. They were really focused on what they were trying to do and getting it all set out so that their first set is going to be done right. And once they go through the process of using these, then they'll get a surprise later. But it's a really good project. I've been doing it for... Started building something like that at my last school and just sort of changed them slightly each time, or the way that we go about it, the way that I might approach it and get the kids to focus on it. The idea of using found material for the upholstery rather than me going out and buying a whole roll of vinyl, that sort of thing. So the only expensive part of that project, getting the high density foam. I get that custom cut to the sizes that we need, a whole box of them. The material, the timber probably costs maybe $7 in total if I use the standard grade. If I go for the more expensive grade, maybe about $9, $10 in material. But I think we've only got standard. Kind of makes up for the fact that a block of foam is about $15 each. Anyway, it's raining. I did order the concrete taxi. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it at such short notice, but they're coming midday on Friday and I've got the class at 12:30. So they'll get all that concreting done, weather permitting. I'm hoping this rain doesn't keep going because it only started today. We'll see where we go from there. Got morning class today, and apart from when I had to wake up, it somehow doesn't feel like it's that early. The sun's a little bit higher than it was even just a fortnight ago. So that's, and then a month ago, because I only had this morning class every 2 weeks. I think a month ago it was still dark when I left the house for the morning class. Last fortnight was a little bit light, but the sun's well and truly up now. Only thing is, in the last few days, spring came and said hello. We had some beautiful hot days, and now it's buggered off again. It's freezing cold. Like Monday, I just had shirt and tie at work. Yesterday, I had the jacket on all day, and today it looks like it's going to be the same unless this blows over. It's been raining throughout the night. But it'll be interesting to see how many of my year 12 show up this morning. Of course, again, the last fortnight, I said to them at the end of the lesson that they could leave their stuff out because they were going to be the next class in the room. So I had them yesterday morning. There was no other class in there yesterday, and now I've got them today. A number of them did leave their stuff out ready for coming in this morning. Remains to be seen. Period 0 has just ended. Turned out to be a beautiful day outside. It was actually really nice being down here this early. Not a single student showed up. And the real annoying part of that is that they left their work out yesterday because they were going to be in here today. So I've just had to pack up everything. Little bit annoyed about that. Concrete taxi coming tomorrow and the site's out there. One of the things I did want to have the students do today was just move the picnic table out of the way, move some of the steel table frames out of the way, just so that we can get a clear run of wheelbarrows from the truck, which will be out here in the car park. Just the other side of that gate, the truck will pull up there, he mixes there. And I'll have to show you the concrete taxi. I think it's an awesome setup. He'll set up there and then the kids will just wheelbarrow it in from there up to the site and back. And it should take an hour at most. And that's booked for tomorrow. It's going to be a case now that the kids have to clear that area really quickly at the start. So, anyway, it's muster now. I'm going to head on over. Well, just finished with year 12. Lunchtime now. There's our slab. Managed to use this bit of steel, which was a little bit wider than the slab for a screed. Bit of moisture on the top. I think I overworked it with the bull float. trying to get rid of the marks that the kids didn't want in it. I moved this chair out of the way so they could get around the sides. Tiny bit left over, so I've poured it into a box and I'll make a little paver or something, put the kids' names in it. It was good. It's a good setup that we've got here now, having this little compound here, because the concrete taxi, which he just backs up right here, they mix to order, and then the kid wheelbarrow it out. Got 2 wheelbarrows sitting out there because the kids have just cleaned all the tools off afterwards. The concrete taxi, it's like a franchise here, and they'll come out, they'll mix to order. This meant to be 0.4 of a cubic metre, but being that it wasn't completely level at the bottom and we had a little bit of leftover just from the mixing process, I was charged for half a cubic metre, which came to $330. I only had 3 of the students actually involved. Some of the others were still trying to catch up on their other stuff that they've got overdue. Let's close these gates up and get packed up a bit more. I'd almost left it a little too late to do the edging. I got a little bit distracted in the staff room getting reports ready online for my staff because they're due very soon. First of all, I thought I got to get going, and then I went, concrete slab. I came out here, managed to get it edged. It was good. That'll definitely get plenty of time to dry over the weekend, and the Year 12s can strip the formwork back whenever their next class is next week. Then we'll try and attach the table to it, move the other one back onto its slab and put that one up on that one. Just about to leave. I was beginning to wonder whether I needed to lock the gates, because I hadn't seen any basketball people arrive yet. And I was just about to pull out, and somebody came in the car park, so I thought, cool, don't have to do that. And then I looked up, and there's a whole stack of windows in this kitchen facing the street that are wide open. I mean, top floor, so there shouldn't be an issue, but I just don't feel right leaving them open for the weekend. Okay, that's that. Try and leave the place a little bit more secure on a Friday arvo. It's really quite a pleasant place when no one's around. Yep, all locked. Time to leave. Car that's turned up down there, so I don't have to worry about the gates. Basketball coach has just arrived as well. Later than normal, they're usually here by now. I know those windows have kind of been open for probably the best part of a week. And they did have screens on the inside. But I think back to my first school, and our building faced the outside edge of the school. Come in quite a few Mondays to find at least one window smashed and rocks lying on the floor in the classroom. That was in woodwork rooms. I'd hate for that to happen in a kitchen, especially one that's just been redone. tip if you're looking for a mulcher, because a lot of people say don't mulch bamboo, but you can. You get one of these ones that has just the twin blade, or if they've got more, that's even better. And this one basically feeds down into here. And this is the main section, so it grabs the branch there and mulches. I have a small hole here, but I took that bit off. Don't try this at home, folks. Those blades are starting to get blunt because I can run my finger over them and not do anything to my fingers. But I just cut down a stack of overhanging bamboo from the neighbours. You can see that space up there where the vine is growing up the front of it there. A load of the bamboo just pulls it over the driveway into our yard. I forgot a piece. But there was a lot of vine as well. The vine that was in a big clump I just put straight into our green waste bin, but all of that bamboo wouldn't fit, so it's easier to just mulch it and throw it into the yard to compost. Bamboo compost's really easy because it's basically just a lot of sugar. It just breaks down really good. Once it's cut, it breaks down well.